Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management. I'm Harry Donahue, and yes, we're back in the laboratory, Lou Guzzi's laboratory here at Lou's Academy at Talamore. We're going to do a little bit of spring, what do you want to call it? Refresher? House cleaning? What do you want to call it, Lou?
Refresher's good.
I wish the spring weather would be refreshed, but
welcome to like the 5th or 6th day of spring. Isn't it wonderful?
Lou's got the fireplace going, so we're nice and toasty here inside the laboratory. What are we going to be talking about today, Lou?
I'd like to talk about the Masters. That's coming up in about 2 weeks.
Couple weeks you could.
We're all going to watch the Masters. Today, Harry, we're going to talk a little bit about the swing and how to align, and maybe looking at a different way to align up for a golf shot. And then maybe, if we have some time, we might even do some putting.
Also coming up on this week's edition of Inside Golf, we continue with part 2 of our countdown to the 2013 U.S. Open at Merion. And our teed-off panel will take a look at comparing today's top-of-the-line players and how they would have fared against guys from the past. It's all coming up next on Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management. Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts. By PlayACGolf.com. Visit PlayACGolf.com to plan your Atlantic City golf getaway, where the play continues well into the night. By Club Champion. Better fit, lower scores. Visit their Bala-Cynwyd location. By Temple Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, now located in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Call 800-TEMPLE-MED. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA. Experts in the game and business of golf.
Early mornings, late nights, and way too many takeout dinners. Running a business takes energy, determination, and sacrifice. And whether you're a startup, well-established, or somewhere in between, the people of Susquehanna Bank have the knowledge to help you succeed. From cash management solutions to the benefits of local loan decisions, we help keep your business moving ahead. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts for businesses like yours. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management. We're with Lou Guzzi, who's one of the top 100 golf instructors in the nation, according to Golf Magazine. And every week you can download Lou's tips from the lab, right?
Golf.com. It's Lou's Lab. Every Friday, Harry, we do a tip. Got a great video camera for the works. Go to golf.com, Lou's Lab. 50-plus video tips on there every week.
Well, right now we have them exclusively just for Inside Golf. You know, we began with this shot of the cross, for want of a better term, and basically to help people line up. And you know, Lou, before we started our taping here, I was just hitting some balls, and I thought I was lined up to a target area out there using this as a little bit of a guide, and everything seemed to be going left. Then I stepped back, and I thought I was pulling the ball, when in fact, I was actually hitting it exactly where I was aligned. And that is a big, big problem for amateur golfers like myself.
Yeah, Harry, what we're going to do, and Harry experienced this today, we are going to actually look at how to align a little differently maybe than what you've heard before. Harry was lined up square to the mat, coming out of a square building, our academy. He thought that he was hitting the ball towards the checkered flag, checkered flag that's orange, which is about 20 yards to the right. So while we're getting set up for the shoot, he's actually hitting the ball down the middle, but in his mind, because he thought he was at the checkered flag, he thought he was pulling the ball 20 yards to the left.
Right, so I pulled back, I stood back and looked, and actually where this line is aimed is 20 yards to the left of that checkered flag. So I was actually hitting a perfect shot in terms of direction.
Yeah, so
So what do we got to do?
Yeah, I mean, here's a couple of thoughts here. I love to tell my students, I like to let the golf ball get in the way of the swing. I like the fairways and the greens, Harry, to get in the way of the ball. So once we're making our swing, we have a position that we want to hit in our backswing and a position that we want to hit in our follow-through. That's the mechanics we learn from our PGA professionals. When you're set up to hit a golf shot, establish that square position, and that's where we're going to use clubs, one for the ball, where we're going to start the ball, and then one for our feet. When we go to play golf, I don't think about the target. I make a decision based on the target. So if I know my 9-iron draws right to left, let's say 10 yards, I've got to start my ball 10 yards right of where I want the ball to hit the ground. That's the intermediate target. Then from the intermediate target, it's going to spin a little bit to the left. That's the destination target. So then what we do is once we're set up, we've established the fact that we're lined up where we want to go. That out there, whether it's a driving range, whether it's a golf course, or you're hitting golf balls right off of a ship or on a yacht, that is basically at that point a blank sheet. And then we're thinking about our swing positions. That frees us up. We're not focused on our target because we already know that our golf ball draws right to left 10 yards. And then we make our swing. It frees us up to go about the business of swinging the club smoothly. Harry, the problem that most amateurs have, they're not lined up properly to begin with. And then they're focused on the target like you were. Your target was right where your alignment was. Harry thought he was hitting it to the left, and then he's going to start changing his swing and trying to push the ball to the target. Most people aim to the right. Their target's left. They focus too much on the target, and they end up pulling the ball.
So it sounds like more than anything else, alignment not only is the first thing you have to worry about, but really it should be the only thing you have to worry about if you trust your swing. If you trust your swing and you're aligned right, you're going to hit a decent shot.
That's right. You know, my thought process is my target really becomes my swing positions. So I do have a thought in the backswing and a thought in the finish position. That's what I'm rehearsing in my pre-shot routine. So if I'm on the driving range hitting driver and the ball's moving left to right 15 yards, well, maybe I want to hit a draw that day, but the 15-yard fade is what I've got to go to the tee with. I shouldn't miss a fairway. Aim down the left-hand side, play that left to right 15-yard fade, you'll hit every fairway. Not only will you hit every fairway, folks, but here's the deal. You've got 100% of your target to work towards because you're aiming down the left side. I might warm up with a driver. It's moving right to left that day. And maybe I hit 15, 20 balls. I got to go to the tee. Well, I'm going to play it down the right-hand side and play the draw. It's easy.
You know, that's something that most people think pros don't worry about, that you get up there and you hit the same ball flight all the time. So you're telling me some days you may be going right to left, other days you get out there, you're warming up, and all of a sudden it's fading. It's going left to right.
That's right.
And you usually then stay with whatever you brought to the practice
Yeah,
tee, right?
I mean, you know,
you don't try to
depends-
force a draw when that
No.
day it seems like you're more and more hitting a fade.
That's right. When I make my swing, I'll actually fade the longer clubs, driver and fairway, you know, longer fairway woods, and I'll actually draw my shorter irons. So, you know, I'm playing both sides of the course with the starting point, and I'm playing that shape for the day. So, hey, if it's a 25-yard fade, folks, and you're out there aiming down the right-hand side of the fairway, you're going to have trouble because your golf ball is working away from your target immediately.
You know, Lou, most golf ranges, when you go out to practice, don't have a mat like this that has the perfect angles and allows you to pretty much align the way you say we should be. So what would you recommend to people if they're going out, even before they play a quick 18?
Yep.
Bring in a club or two,
Yep.
and then use them as the aids, right? Lie them
That's right.
on the ground.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up two clubs, and there's a little trick here too. Let's say we've obviously got a lot of golf balls here to hit, which is a wonderful thing. This is the medicine, by the way, for the swing.
I
Lots
just
of
don't want to
medicine.
go out there and try to collect all those balls after you hit them.
That's right. So what we'll do is, you know, we'll establish our starting point, where we want to start the golf ball. And then it's going to shape left to right or right to left off that spot. So I'm going to put the golf ball just inside the golf club. Then what I'm going to do, and I've got the monster wedge here. We might as well use this because this
Boy,
is pretty
you can't
visual.
miss it with that thing.
Can't miss it with this one. Then I'm going to hit golf shots. I'm behind. I know where the starting point is, and then I know where my target is. And then when you go to get another golf ball after you've hit, here's a little trick for you. Make sure that the club's angled so that you can roll the ball right off of the hosel and the club won't move. And then you put the next one down. We know where our alignment is. We hit our swing positions. We get comfortable with looking at the relationship between those lines from those clubs and that line of play. We make our swing and we'll hit a lot of fairways and greens, Harry.
You know, Jack Nicklaus, I remember, they said, used to pick out a spot maybe 3 feet ahead of, like, if it was a tee shot or an iron, whatever. And that's where he visualized the ball traveling
That was
off.
his- yeah,
that
that was
was
his
his
starting
alignment,
point.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that you would recommend for people to do too? Rather than looking down there, it actually begins right here.
Yeah.
And you want to concentrate on a spot maybe 3, 4 feet
That's right.
in
Yeah,
front of where the ball is.
If you think about the swing and what we're doing here, as far as pre-shot routine and alignment, when you get set up, once you're ready to take that club back and swing, that's a blank sheet. Get to a spot where you're comfortable. For me, I'm comfortable inside the building. So I just pretend the building's on the golf course when I'm playing. Get a spot on the range where you're comfortable at your home course, and then go out there and swing and take that position with you wherever you play golf.
We'll be back. Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management, continues from Lou Guzzi's lab at Talamore. More on alignment and also
Remember
the putting
what that
and
looks
putting
like
green.
in your mind.
We'll be back with Lou in just a moment.
At this moment, across the country, families are packing their bags for a getaway. And no matter where they end up, they'll all be home by dinner. Plan your own at playgolfamerica.com. From finding fun and affordable programs to finding advice from PGA and LPGA professionals, playgolfamerica.com has a way for you to get away. Visit today for details. playgolfamerica.com, your link to the game.
This is really a transformative time in the history of Temple Health.
The right people are all coming together at the same time.
Really outstanding physicians who are at the top of their field.
To develop the most effective cancer treatments anywhere in the country.
To educate the next generation of physicians.
To move things from what we do in science.
To bring that science to the care of patients.
In the future, it's limitless.
Well, welcome back to Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management with Lou Guzzi. We're at Lou's lab at his golf academy at Talamore. And I love coming up here because I never know what club I'm going to wind up hitting.
That's right.
If I go this far, point me to the parking lot. Will you get me out of here?
Harry, if you're a tennis player, the action of tennis is very similar to golf. So.
I know, and you have a couple of students that were pretty good tennis players, and now you got them thinking about the same motion.
Same swing, just a little different angle. That's all.
That's my next chore here. All right, Lou, we talked about alignment in the opening segment. Give us the whole thing, the whole routine, okay? From pre-shot, lining up, hitting a shot, and we'll see where it winds up, okay?
Great. So basically right now I have an 8-iron in my hand. Warming up on the range, the ball's moving a little bit right to left, so I know that I've got a starting point and then obviously an intermediate target. So I've decided here I'm going to make a full swing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a practice swing and rehearse the positions that I want to hit back and through. I might make one practice swing, Harry. I might make 3. But it's going to be quick. I'm just feeling the club that I'm about to hit because let's say I just came off of a driver off the tee. Now I'm getting behind the ball and I'm establishing a point where I want to start this golf ball. Now I'm going to stay square to the mat for the viewers. So basically this golf ball is running almost into that bunker. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a spot off of where I want to start it right here.
That's the thing we were talking about previously with Nicholas.
With Jack, that's right.
Aligning a spot in advance of the ball.
So once I get the club lined up with that, that's my outside rail. Then I want my feet, knees, hips, and shoulders parallel to that line. And then a little look at the target. And then from this point on, I'm done with the target because I know what my ball flight's going to be. And then I'm thinking about the positions that I want to hit in my golf swing and completing the swing. That's a blank sheet. I'm free to make the swing, and that's how you hit a lot of greens. Here we go. Here's the shot. Okay, so the ball started right on line. That shot's moving a little bit to the right.
And the wind may have had something to do because
Absolutely.
you got a little left to right wind there.
Yeah, so we're on the right-hand side of the green. Now, that's another thing that you'd want to do. Play the wind, play the conditions. So if we want to go off of that spot,
and you know you're going to hit basically, that was a pretty straight ball. You didn't have that, turning right to left, left to right. So you take into consideration then the wind factor, and it's blowing pretty stiff. Those flags are stretched out a little bit. That could be about a 10-yard differentiation.
Right.
Yeah.
You bet.
Okay.
So then what you do is you just start it a little bit left, play your little draw, the wind moves it the other way, you hit another green.
Right.
So it's a simple process. It's a pre-shot routine that you want to be consistent with. Blank sheet at the end, make your swing, hit your position.
All right, so much for alignment and how critical that is. What do you say we go over to the putting green here in the laboratory and give us a tip or two getting ready for the short stick this spring?
Sounds like a plan, and it sounds like a little different game as well.
Who needs any spring tips? Lou Guzzi looks like he's in mid-season form. All right, here we are in Lou's lab. We're on the putting green. Give me a couple things here in the next couple minutes that people should be thinking about. I know you don't want to, clutter up their mind. Couple tips on getting ready to putt again.
Okay. One of the biggest tips, if we don't even change our stroke. And we just stroke the ball without peaking. You're going to make more putts. So when you think about the tour players from 6 feet, they're at 51%. 6 feet. Best tip, don't move your head. Visualize that putt. Get yourself lined up. And then right when you're ready to take that putter back, remember what that putt looks like in your mind and absolutely don't move your head. Without even changing your stroke, your percentage of makes are going to go up.
How about when you're positioning? It's forward, middle, back. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I have it slightly forward and middle.
Okay.
So I'll set the putter up.
And that's always been that way with you, Lou?
That's right. Yeah, because I want to hit the ball a little bit on the upswing with the putter.
Right. Get it rolling.
Get it rolling. And then I get it lined up. And then basically, once I've decided that I've got that right in the scope, then I'm going to take the putter back. And then from here, I'm going to remember what the putt looks like. No head movement until the putter completely stops. If you do that, whatever stroke you have, you're going to make more putts. And you know what, Harry? There's no rules for putting. As we know over the years, we've had a lot of great putters that were wristy, shoulder stroke putting, long putter, anchor putter, unanchor putter. It's all good.
Your lower body stayed perfectly still, so did your head. When you assume the position again, I just want to ask you something. Do you favor weight-wise left or right, or do you have an equal distribution of your weight on both legs and feet?
I feel 50-50. Okay. I'm trying to feel a little anchored with my arms against my sides, and basically all the stroke is this. A little rock of the shoulders, as little movement of the lower body as possible. If the knees move just a little bit, that's okay, because you don't want to be rigid. And then just keep those eyes down and that head steady. Complete your stroke. When that putter stops, if you want to jump up and down, it's great, but not during the stroke.
And from this distance, by the time you look up, if it's Lou Guzzi, the ball's in the hole. Always a
Harry.
pleasure.
My pleasure.
Tips on alignment and putting. Stop up and see Lou at his golf academy and laboratory here at Tullamore. And coming up next, we'll take a look at the 2013 U.S. Open at Merion. Our preview presented by Temple Health. This June, Merion East will host the U.S. Open for a 5th time, and the question begs, was there one event which elevated Merion to national and international prominence? Merion's resident historian is John Capers, Jr., and he suggests that something that happened in 1930 probably put Merion on the golf map.
It came about after it happened. Everybody knew that Bobby Jones was going for the, quote, then Grand Slam, the 2 Opens of U.S. and Britain and the similar amateurs. But after he concluded that here in September 27th, 1930, that then started the reputation, really, of what Merion was all about.
And if Bob Jones could revisit Merion today, chances are his observations of the course design and setup would show little difference from the course where he made history.
Let's just say between 1930 and 2000, there were very few changes, if any, on this golf course. Every time you have a major championship, like an Open, the fairways will get narrowed for a period of time and then opened up a little bit.
When the U.S. Amateur was last held at Merion in '05, the course was lengthened a bit. The biggest changes for this year's Open have been with the fairways in terms of direction, rerouting, and narrowing. For instance, as much as 8.5 acres of fairways have been eliminated. How about Merion's greens? Have they been altered much over the years?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, when we regrassed these greens in the 1990s, our objective was to go back and look at the old aerial photographs, of which we have thousands, as to what were the real sizes of these greens. And we went back to that.
So in the almost 85 years since Bob Jones's Grand Slam clinching victory, the changes at Merion have been minimal and mostly subtle. For somebody like John Capers, Jr., who has played the course for most of his life, that thrill of standing on the first tee is always there.
So many feet have walked through the history of this place. You can hear the footsteps on the grass.
Yes, Merion is steeped in tradition.
This has been Countdown to the 2013 U.S. Open at Merion East, presented by Temple Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, now located in Oaks, Pennsylvania.
It's a great time to be at Temple Health.
We have been attracting people who are at the top of their field.
I came to Temple to build a robotic center of excellence that is recognized on an international level.
To turn temple cardiothoracic surgery into one of the best programs in the country.
to educate the next generation of physicians.
To cement a new area of research.
Right now, Temple is the most exciting place to be in healthcare.
Hi everyone, Ron Jaworski here. I just want to let you in on a little secret. Here, just outside of Atlantic City, you'll find some of the top-rated golf courses in the world. Imagine playing these championship courses during the day, then playing your hand at something else at night. Casinos, bars, clubs, shows. Atlantic City has something for all the ways you like to play. So pack your bags for the ultimate golf getaway. Do AC and play AC Golf. AC Golf, where the play continues well into the night.
Guests of Teed Off receive gift certificates to any of the 8 restaurants at Valley Forge Casino at King of Prussia. And now it's time for Teed Off, brought to you by Yingling, America's oldest brewery.
And then they disappear. But Tiger, Phil, those guys are always up.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues with our Teed Off segment. Today, here we are at the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort, official partner of the Philadelphia PGA, right in King of Prussia off the Turnpike. Our panel today includes, from 97.5, The Fanatic, Harry Mays. You can hear Harry every weekday morning, 10 to noon on 97.5. Also, Joe Logan back with us. Joe from myphillygolf.com and Philadelphia area professional. He teaches up at Five Ponds in Warminster when he's not writing books, or also on phillyburbs.com, my good buddy Bob Shepard.
Good to be here, Harry.
Hey, Bob, you could appreciate this. You know, they compare athletes of one era to another, and when you go back and look at, say, baseball players from the 40s or beyond and compare them to today's guys, same with basketball, football, whatever. How about golfers, okay? When you look at golfers today, the best, the elite, the Woods, the Mickelsons, the Rory McIlroys, how would they have fared? Would they have won as many tournaments if they had been up against, say, the Nelsons, the Sneads, the Hogans, later on, the big three of Palmer, Nicklaus, and Gary Player? Would apples be apples, or would apples be oranges?
Difficult, very difficult to say. Now, you can imagine Ben Hogan, fabulous golfer, well-renowned, greatest record, great golf swing, traveled in a trailer. These guys are flying around in jets and limos, and there's massages, and there's physical therapy, and blah, blah, blah. So to make the comparison of from today till then, tremendous difference. Plus, if you look at the Shell's, Wonderful World of Golf, when those balls were rolling on the green, they were hopping. Now today, they're like, like a cue ball going across the post. Exactly.
Screens.
So it's very hard to make the comparison. And also, they were weightlifting this way, and of course
12-ounce curl.
Yeah, and today they got Olympic trainers, so there's a whole it's a whole different ball of wax.
But the one thing that leveled the playing field, everybody was doing that in those days.
Exactly right.
And now everybody is doing the trailers,
right?
And they're all using the same clubs, and they're all putting on the same greens. So I guess what I'm saying is, if Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson had been up against the names that I mentioned before, Harry, would Tiger have won 14 majors?
I still think, regardless of the difference in eras, it's hard to compare eras. With the amount of talent that Tiger Woods has, him having that same talent back in the 50s and 60s, I still think he would have won his share of major championships.
Joe, what's your opinion?
I agree. It's virtually impossible to compare different eras.
Of any sport?
Of any sport. You can only play against the people of your era, and in golf you can only play in the tournaments that are available to you. How do you compare 100 years ago or 50 years ago, that sort of thing, to the point of Tiger Woods? Yes, he is so good, he is so dominant. He would have been just as dominant then as he is now. To me, the difference between the eras is the fields are deeper now. There are more people who can win, but there wasn't a handful of elite players then, just as there is a handful of elite players now. They're always going to be at the top of the leaderboard. It's the other guys who churn up from the bottom and make they gurgle to the top and then they disappear. But Tiger, Phil, those guys are always up there.
Shep, you brought up something about travel. That was one aspect, a major aspect that's different from then till now. And it also impeded some guys' participation. I mean, Hogan went over to the UK to play in the Open Championship one time.
One time only.
And he won it.
Yep.
And he said he's never going back. And Snead, the same thing, because of the travel involved.
Well, they went by ship.
Yeah, it would take a week.
and I believe, I might be wrong on this, but I believe Hogan had sponsors to take him over there, because the trip over and back was far more costly than the first prize was. So even though he won,
that may have cost them 3 majors.
Exactly. Oh, definitely.
Right.
Exactly right.
If that had been Tom Watson, that would have been 4 less majors than he would have had.
Yep.
All right. Harry, Byron Nelson in 45 won a total, I think it was 18 tournaments, including 11 in a row.
Straight.
Is that ever going to be done again?
Absolutely not. It's just like Joe said. I think in today's era, there's more guys churning from the bottom up that are able to win tournaments today than there were back in those days. Those guys, there's so many good, really good players today.
Well, comparing errors too, if you look at Judd McSpaden, his comment was, "Do you know how good I would have been considered if you hadn't been alive?"
Oh yeah, he was runner-up with Byron Nelson 13 times
He said, "You know,
in
the
his
career I
career.
could have had
The
if you
Gold
weren't
Dust
around."
twins, they called because they
Exactly,
always
there you go.
finished 1 and 2. Harry, Shep, Joe Logan, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back. More Inside Golf in a moment. The Valley Forge Casino Resort is the region's only full amenity gaming resort, and it's only seconds from the Pennsylvania Turnpike at King of Prussia. It features 600 slots, 50 table games, plus 8 restaurants designed to meet all of your dining needs. So put the beautiful Valley Forge Casino Resort on your destination list.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yingling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yingling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
Defining a target, realizing a dream. Susquehanna Bank can help you get your plans off the ground. Whether you're sending kids to college or doing something special for yourself. Susquehanna's financial advisors are worth talking to. We can help you find the smartest way to borrow money and save money in the process. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts for dreamers like you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. You know, when Lou Guzzi isn't busy giving lessons, he's down there. There he is, stoking that fire.
Oh, yeah.
Lou, you do a great job at that, too.
I think we're going to be burning all of April, too.
Well, I hope not. I hope, I don't know how much wood
Sure
you have
feels
left.
like it. Oh, man, enough.
Don't forget, keep up with Lou on golf.com. And for more on Inside Golf, go to InsideGolf.net. Thanks again, Lou.
You got it, Harry.
Remember, folks, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. And we'll see you next time on Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank and Wealth Management. Inside Golf, presented by Susquehanna Bank. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts. By PlayACGolf.com. Visit PlayACGolf.com to plan your Atlantic City golf getaway, where the play continues well into the night. By Club Champion. Better fit, lower scores. Visit their Bala-Cynwyd location. By Temple Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, now located in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Call 800-TEMPLE-MED. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf.